Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating idea from our source material. The idea that all the chaos and negativity we see in the world might actually have a cosmic origin, one that goes all the way back to the first split second of the universe itself.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with the big question our source material poses. What if all the struggles we see around us, all the conflict, the suffering, the craziness, what if it isn't just random chance? What if it all comes from a single, fundamental flaw that's literally woven into the fabric of reality? To even begin to wrap our heads around this, we have to start with what the source calls the hidden problem. And the key word here is definitely hidden, because it all starts on a scale that is way, way smaller than anything we can directly see or measure.
At the very heart of this idea is something called the primary anomaly. Now, the source describes this as a basic function of pure randomness. It's the total opposite of a creative ordering force that it calls the source. So you can kind of picture it like this. You have perfect order and creation on one side and this deep, underlying potential for pure chaos and distortion on the other, both existing at the very foundation of everything.
Now here's where this idea really veers off from what you might have learned in physics class. In standard physics, you've got the Planck length. Think of it like the absolute smallest pixel of our universe. Physics basically says you can't get any smaller than that. But this text claims there's something underneath that pixel, a totally undetectable subquantum level. And it's down there, in that hidden space, where the real tension between the source and the anomaly plays out. A tension that the text says is what actually created all matter in the first place.
And this is the part that brings it all right back home to us. Why does any of this matter? Because the text says our planet, for some very specific reasons, is uniquely saturated with this anomaly. It's described as a swamp of irrationality that we're all wading through, a force that subtly nudges our thoughts, our emotions, and our collective behavior.
So you have to wonder, where would a fundamental flaw in reality even come from? Well, the source material lays out a pretty wild cosmic origin story. It's quite a tale.
So, as we've said, the whole story starts with this basic duality. The source, which is pure harmony, and the anomaly, which is pure randomness. And the story goes that it was the incredible friction between these two cosmic potentials that actually ignited the Big Bang.
And this is where the origin story gets really dramatic. Just look at this timeline. It claims that some beings from a previous cosmic cycle, a universe before ours, survived its end by diving into this subquantum anomaly. But doing so fused them all together into one single enraged being. So, the source sent a part of itself to try and heal this being, but that healing force itself got corrupted by the anomaly. It literally turned against its own creator, becoming the first conscious force of opposition, what the text calls the lurker. And that moment of separation, that's the birth of duality as we know it. That's the beginning of the whole story of light versus dark.
Okay, so we've got this cosmic potential for darkness. But how did that potential become the concrete evil that the source says is affecting us right now? Well, it claims it wasn't just one thing, but a series of major changes, or mutations.
As you can see here, the text lays out three huge steps. The first was just a simple distortion way back at the Big Bang. But the second one, 8 million years ago, that was a total game changer. Powerful beings, called archangels in the text, tried to fight the anomaly head-on. But in doing so, they got corrupted, they fell, and they created evil as a conscious, intelligent force for the very first time. And then, much more recently, in 1996, a specific event supposedly unleashed a massive wave of this raw anomaly directly into our reality. And this leads to a really crucial point. According to this text, suffering is not some grand lesson. It's not a path to wisdom. It's presented as just a meaningless byproduct of this cosmic glitch. It's an error in the system that was never, ever meant to be part of the plan.
Now, a cosmic problem on this scale has, as you might expect, prompted a cosmic response. So let's take a look at the battle that the source claims is being fought right now to fix all of this. So, who's in this fight? The source calls them the Galactic Confederation, and their mission is to clear out this anomaly, with a special focus on Earth. But here's the massive challenge they face. They can't just fight the symptoms, the dark forces. They have to fix the root cause, the anomaly itself. Because if they don't, the whole problem could just pop up all over again in the next universe.
And the technology they're supposedly using is pretty fascinating. It's a kind of quantum cannon, and it's called, get this, Mjolnir. As this table shows, it can directly blast away the anomaly on the quantum level we live in. But that deeper, sub-quantum anomaly, it can't reach it directly. It has to be cleared indirectly, almost like they're repeatedly cleaning the surface to eventually soak up the stain deep underneath.
This bar chart really brings it all into focus. This is why Earth is ground zero in this whole cosmic drama. The text states that the anomaly isn't spread out evenly. It's exponentially stronger right here, on and around our planet, than basically anywhere else in the entire universe. This is what makes Earth the final, most important battleground. Now you might be thinking this is all some huge cosmic story that has nothing to do with us, but the source material is very clear. We are not just spectators here. We all have an absolutely critical role to play in the final outcome.
So how in the world can one person fight a cosmic anomaly? Well, the text actually gives us three powerful tools. First is to observe, to cultivate that inner stillness and become a silent witness, because pure, non-judgmental awareness apparently just dissolves the stuff. The second is to act, to perform conscious positive acts. And the third is to anchor, to consciously choose to ground the light and help that's being sent to the planet.
And this quote right here, this is really the key takeaway for each of us. According to this source, our choices are never small or insignificant. Every single positive act is a cosmic act. It's an act that is literally helping to heal the fabric of reality and chip away at this fundamental problem.
And what's the end game? What's the goal of all this? The big battles, the cool tech, our own individual actions? It's to clear enough of this anomaly to hit a critical tipping point. And that tipping point triggers something the source calls the event, a final planetary breakthrough that it says will permanently solve the problem of darkness and release a huge wave of truth and clarity for everyone.
And so, we're left with this final thought from the source material. It takes this giant cosmic story and brings it right back down to a very simple, very personal question. If every positive act really does erase a piece of the anomaly, which one will be yours?